everybody and welcome back. We are here for week 41 of the Altered Index 2025 challenge. This is the challenge that I'm running in my Facebook group, Non-Stop Papercrafts, and of course here on my channel. I do have a list of prompts that I am working from. This prompt list is in my Ko-fi shop if you are interested. I also have last year's Altered Index list in there as well, if you fancy just using the prompts for your own creativity. If you are new to this challenge, you absolutely do not have to go back and catch up. You can just jump in from here. Obviously, we are slowly coming to the end. We're on week 41, but we'll be going up to week 42. So we've got just over 10 more videos to go. So as I said, we are on week 41. The prompt for this week is insects and wings, or wings. So I have pulled out a few things. So I've obviously got my index card that I'm going to be using. I'm going to use one of my people stickers. I used one of these last week as well. I do have, and I'm trying to do it so that it doesn't glare too much off my ring light, I do have this stamp set that has all different bugs on, so I'm going to be using that as well, since it's all about insects and wings. And then what I was thinking with my person, so she's carrying a little lantern, so I thought I would use the phrase like a moth to the flame. So that's going to be my phrase that I use. But I also want to put behind her. Now I've dug this book out because it's, as you can see, nice and chunky and thick. And I die cut. I've got a die that does these style wings. So I've done one that's just out of a tracing paper. So it's obviously quite a clear one. And then I've done one that's on a kind of patterned vellum. And I was going to layer these. Now I don't know which way round I'm going to layer them yet. I guess it kind of depends on the background. But I was then going to have her over the top, so it kind of looks like her wings. Like I said, not sure which way round I want it yet. I think I'll decide that as I'm kind of putting it together. But yeah, I'm going to have the wings kind of going behind her. And then, yeah, like I said, decorate the background with the bugs. Now I do want to colour the background as well. So with the sentiment being like a moth to the flame, I have dug out a few different colours. Now I may not use all of them, but I've got hickory smoke, because again I'm thinking if it's going to the fire there'll be smoke. I've got some red, and then I have got some rusty hinge and vintage photo, just to add a kind of different tone to it as well. And then I'm going to do my stamping in a black ink, and I've got VersaFine for that, and Onyx Black. So to create the background, I'm going to do my good old favourite technique where I just kind of smush some ink onto here, spray it so it's watered down, and then put it on here, and then I just have to keep heat drying it. Obviously when I do the heat drying I will speed that up and mute it, because you don't want to be listening to all of that. So what colour do we want to start with? So I think I might start with what's going to be kind of the main background colour. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of brown vintage photo, but I'm also going to put a little bit of rusty hinge in it as well. So I'll start off with the vintage photo, just give that a little bit of a squirt. And then I'm just going to pop my card down on top, give it a little sort of swish round. Now it doesn't matter if the whole card isn't completely covered, that's not a problem. I'm then going to bring in my rusty hinge. I'm going to rub that onto the platform. Now this is just more of a kind of obviously yellowy brown, so I thought that would be great for obviously again the flame part. Just going to again water that down. Yes, it is going to mix in with a vintage photo, that's absolutely fine. What I'm actually going to do is just dab where obviously we've got a lot of water in places. And then again I'm just going to do the same thing, so I'm just going to put it down, let it kind of smush on. And then we've got that kind of colour. So this one I'm going to just let drip on. And then obviously just give that a wipe. So before I add any more colours, I am just going to dry this with my heat gun. So I will be back in just a moment, and then we can add some more colour to this. Okay, so that's the kind of browns dry. So now I do want to add in a little bit of red and a little bit of the grey. So I'm going to do the same things, just to put a little bit of red on there. Give it a bit of a spray. And then I do just want a little bit of this. I'm just going to put it maybe in a couple of the corners. So maybe that corner. And maybe a little bit up the top here. Okay, so not too much. Again, I'm just going to heat dry that before we add any grey. And I may not even add any grey. We'll kind of see how that looks once it's dry. Okay, so for the final time we are going to add a little bit of grey to here as well, just to kind of get that smoky look. Again, I'm just going to pop the card on, let it smush around a little bit. Okay, and then that's all I'm going to do. So now I'm just going to dry it for the last time, and then we can start adding some of the other decoration to it as well. Right, okay, so that's the background that we have, and I'm really happy with that. So I'm just going to move these inks out of the way now. And we're going to start stamping. So I'm going to use my small Versify just because these are going to be smaller stamps. Now obviously we've got lots of different bugs on here, so I'm going to try and pick some of the smaller ones. So I think I might pick, oh, these are hard to get off, that fella. Maybe this one. And then I kind of feel like I need a moth, because obviously I'm talking about a moth to the flame. So I think, although this looks, I don't know if that's a butterfly or a moth, this one. Moths do tend to have, I think, chunkier bodies. I know nothing about butterflies and moths, but I think they seem to be sort of like big, chunkier, fluffier bodies, don't they? Maybe I'll do that one, but maybe just part of it, because it is obviously quite large. And then what else? Can't really not have a ladybug, can I really? So let's have the ladybug. Right, they're the ones we're going to go with then. So let's do our moth first. So like I said, I'm not going to necessarily have the whole thing. So if I've got the girl on here, obviously some of her wing is going to have to be cut off, isn't it? So maybe I'll have this one coming in at the corner. So we're not doing all of it. I'm just going to do that top half. Okay, and it doesn't matter if it's not a sort of full impression either. Okay, so we've got that. Oh, I like that. That's nice. I think we're going to do a little bit of the wing, just because I like it, up in this top corner as well. Yeah. Now I'm just going to give them a quick little clean before I put them away. Right, then what have we got? We've got the little ladybug. Let's do her, shall we? So obviously she's a bit smaller, so I can dab her onto the ink pad. Now, you're not always necessarily going to see all of the bugs because obviously of the girl that's going to be in the middle, but I just like to stamp them around anyway, because you never know, do you, where they're going to be poking out. So this one can go there. I think I'll just do the one of that one actually. And then what else have we got? Now I do really like these bug stamps. I can't, however, remember where I got them from. I know that's something that somebody's probably going to ask me. Cannot remember. If I remember, I will have them linked below. It's more than likely I've probably got them from Amazon. I do get a lot of my stamps and things from Amazon. Okay, I'm going to have this one there, and poking in a little bit this way as well. Oops, I didn't do it very well, did it? Let's see if I can get that on top. Yeah, close enough. Right, okay. I think that'll do, because like I said, once I've got my person on there, it seems a bit pointless crowding the middle, because I know I'm not going to see that. So I've got these two. Now, like I said, I could either have it so the wings are that way round and she's like this, or this way round and she's like this. Oh, I don't know which one I prefer. Now I did put them in that big book. Probably actually didn't explain, did I? That big botanical book, because they were starting to curl up after I die cut them, and they're curling up again. I mean, this one's only a thin tracing paper, which is probably why this one's curling. So I'm just going to try and curl it back a bit. I mean, this one's laying flatter, which is why I'm thinking I might have that one on top, because it's going to help hold the other one. Now I've also just realised I actually don't know which way up these go. I think it is that way, isn't it? I have no idea. Could I do something like that? One's one way, one's the other way. That might look fun. I'm not fussed if it's not realistic. A girl would not have these wings anyway. I might do that. Right. The only thing I'm going to do is, obviously, as you may be able to see on this, she's got a thinner white border this side and it's quite thick on this side. So I think I'm just going to trim that down a little bit, just so it's a little bit more even. So I'm going to use my smaller Tim Holtz scissors, and I think I'm going to start it from down here. So I just want to get rid of a little bit of that white. I don't mind having a white border, that really doesn't bother me, but like I said, it's just that it was quite close to her on this side. But this side we've got quite a thick border, so I just want to make sure that that is a little bit more even. Yeah, just a little reminder again that in the last video I did say I have switched round a little bit the order of the index cards, because where Halloween is coming up, where was it? So number 44 is supposed to be labels, but that ends up being the end of October. And I've got Haunted, which was supposed to be number 46. So I've just swapped those two rounds. So Haunted is going to be 44 because that's the end of October. So it's great for Halloween. And then I've swapped that with labels. So just a little reminder, if you are following along, I mean, as I said in the other video, it doesn't matter whether you don't swap them around. It's just that I will, because to me it just makes a bit more sense to do a more Halloweeny one around Halloween. Okay, I think I've just gone a bit too close to that lantern. Let's just snip round here a minute, and then I'll come back to that in a second. Up there, round there. Now, I am not very good at fussy cutting, as I think I've mentioned a few times. But these scissors I do find to be a big help. So let's try and cut that out so it falls off. That's better. And I'm just going to cut in around her hair as well. And yeah, I think that is about it. Like I said, I don't want to cut the whole thing off. I just wanted to bring it in a little bit because it was considerably a wider margin on one side than it was the other. That'll do. Right, so like I said, I think, I don't know whether to go a bit different and kind of have them like that. I am covering up my little ladybug down here, but that's fine because obviously I've got another ladybird up there, so that's not a problem. So I might stick my wings there. Yes, I will obviously trim these off. Or I may keep them sticking out. I don't actually know what I'm doing with these index cards yet. And then I can have my sentiment up here. So let's get some glue and we can get that stuck down. Right. Just going to triple check where exactly I'm having this. So she's going to be standing there. So I'm just going to put a blob of glue in the middle. Oh, I completely missed that, didn't I? Bring it down a bit. There we go. It's all going to dry, oops, clear anyway. So that goes on there. And then this one is going to go on top, about there. And then this sticker is going to go over both of them. Now these are quite sticky, I don't need to add anything else to her. I'm just going to bring her down slightly so she's roughly centered about there. And then she will obviously help hold the wings down and in place as well. Fabulous. So that's how she looks. Yeah, I think I might keep those off the edge. I don't mind them hanging off the edge. Okay, so now we need the sentiment. So I am going to use this tool. So this is, I don't know if it's a brand actually. I don't think it is. I think it's a non-brand. But this is an embossed label maker. So as I said, I'm going to go with like a moth to the flame. Right, okay, so there we have it. Like a moth to the flame. So what I quite like about this is that, as you can see, the letters aren't perfectly straight, but I really like that. That doesn't bother me at all. So I'm going to trim them down though, so it's not one massive long one. So like a moth to the flame. So like a moth. Now we're going to have this like a moth to the flame. Or do we have flame down here? Like a moth to the flame. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. So getting the backing off these isn't always easy. Now what it does is when it snips off, it does give you a little bit to pull on, but unfortunately, because obviously I like to trim these up you don't have that on every single piece. Oops. Now if I'd have done it individually, it probably would have worked. Now I have stuck that down a little bit crooked, but actually I'm not fussed if it's not straight. In fact, I might make a little theme of it and have it all a little bit off kilter. Problem is they go all static and then you end up with these pieces kind of getting stuck to your fingers. So like a moth to there, and then we'll have flame down by the actual flame. Okay, so like a moth to the flame. So there is my card. I really like this one. I'm so happy with this one. So the prompt for this week was insects/wings. So we do have some insects stamped in the background. Our girl has wings. She's got a little lantern. So we've used the saying like a moth to the flame. As I said, really like this one. I hope that you have found this video useful, inspiring. Maybe it's given you some ideas. If you are after any more ideas and inspiration about how to do these cards, please go and check out the Non-Stop Papercrafts Facebook group. Lots of people post their cards in there and they are absolutely brilliant. So stunning. It's incredible what people come up with relating to these prompts. So yeah, go and check out everybody in the Facebook group that is posting their cards because they are amazing. If you have enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Feel free to drop me a comment. I really love reading and responding to those. If you are not already a subscriber, I would really love for you to do so. Please make sure you also click that bell button. That way you are notified of any new crafty videos. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that you have a wonderful day and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.